And then you might remember this is a flow that I started just before placement. So it was all about being comfortable, finding comfort in our practice. So we do that in a few different ways. And one of the main ones is mudras. So just kind of hands on, really. So for now, Elaine looks like she's had a morning. She had. For now, all we need to do is just select the most comfortable place for our bodies to be. And if that's seated, then good. If that feels like it's nicer laying down, equally nice. But just have a little bit of a global chill. And when you find that place, that space, just really check in. Is there something or somewhere else that you could move? Oh no, I'm so sorry, Louise. And it might be that you have outside challenges. But you know when you're there, because there's that lovely point where the breath just starts to get freer. You just notice that, wow, I've been breathing. It sounds so simple and almost stupid, but it's so true. You just notice that you're alive. You allow the breath to travel freely through the rib cage. Allow the breath to fill you up and then let it go. Stay with that for 3 more long, deep, but easy breaths. Upon completion of that third breath, if you're not already in a seated position, you can just very slowly start to bring your body into some sort of a seat. Legs wherever they want. If you're already seated, it might be that you change the position of your legs. Might do a brief 90-90. And then all we're going to do is just some head rolls, some neck rolls, but with the option of taking Garada Mudra. So maybe the webbing of the thumbs interlace, the thumbs come up, the palms come up, and we rest that whole hand, fingers around the sternum and the chest. So we're just in Garada Mudra. So the upper body feels at ease. What we're going to do is just have a little explore of the head. So you can start slowly allowing the head to take some circles. And it might be that it doesn't want to go very far. It might be the head's just being a little bit protected. But at some point, maybe the muscles start to soften. The head feels like it's free just to have a little bit more of an experience. And as usual, if you find any bits that are interesting, feel free to abandon the circles in favor of some little rocking motions, nodding motions, and just kind of like honor what you found. If you want to, you can circle in the opposite direction. And if you haven't already, you can just marry up the breath to the movement. So as you exhale, the head is coming closer to the chest, the chin is closer to the chest. And as we inhale, our head is up, we're looking up. Just 2 more circles. Breath free. Once you come back to neutral, just see if you can find a place for your head that feels really effortless. And if you've been in Garada Mudra, you can drop the mudra so that hands can come away from the sternum and chest. And then bring those same hands to the floor into tabletop position. If cat-cow takes your fancy, then please do. If it's more of something kind of organic, bendy, floaty, shaky, sway thing, sometimes I quite like to have a little bend in my elbows and just really get to tops. Tops there. Oh, it feels so funny to think about other things, other bones other than the foot bones. God, there is other bones in the body. Who knows? At some point, just have a little feel of the spine. So as you move, just be aware that the spine is that center point. And then in a minute, we're going to take it into a twist. So left hand stays down. We re-establish our points of contact with the ground. And then as we inhale, we just take that right arm up as far as we feel comfortable. Really nice. And then push through the left and reach through the right. So you've just got a little bit more twist. That's it, Davina. Yeah, keep it up. Good. Yeah. And then exhale, bring it back down. See what it feels like now after having opened that up. And same thing the other side. So inhale as we take an open twist. Left arm is up towards the ceiling. Right arm, we just push the right arm down a little bit. So we've got this long kind of line of energy from hand that's on the floor to hand that's in the air. And then exhale, put it back down. Once more on both sides before we add it into a flow. Inhale, we open up. At the top, as we exhale, we just push down through the hands on the floor. I kind of like to spread my fingers. I feel like I get a bit more bang for my younger buck. And then bring that hand down, back into tabletop. Last one, last side. Inhale. Once more, we push down through the hand that's on the floor. Through the fingers. And then we pop it back down. Take the weight off the hands just for a second, actually, before we start to do that into the flow. Maybe circle or shape them. That feels right. And we're going to add that twist into a little, almost like cat, cow, child flow. So pop the hands once more into the ground. Same start. As we inhale, we take the right arm up to the ceiling. As we exhale, we're going to do 2 things. Hand comes down to the floor, butt goes towards heels. So it's kind of like a high child. Make sure you've got enough space. So as we inhale, we're going to stick our bums out, extend our spine and take our head up. So it's like our cow, but we're in child's. So you've got this really lovely long back line. And then take it all the way back. Take the top. Inhale as we open up into our twist on the other side. And exhale, hand comes down, bum comes down, we're in our child's. Yeah. Inhale, it's almost like you're bringing your chest through your arms so that you can lift up. So you're in this extended spine, bum is sticking out. Exhale as you bring it back. I like to get that exhale quite quick and kind of, yeah, zoom. Yeah, nice to be now. Inhale, we keep going. Open the twist to the right. Exhale, pop the hand back, pop the hips back. But give yourself enough space so that as you inhale, you take your chest through your biceps, you lift your head, stick your butt out. I like to bend my elbows so I feel like I've got a little bit more space to use. And then exhale as I come through. Inhale, take a twist. And then exhale, hand back, hips back. Inhale as we travel forward, we've got that extended spine. And tilt to our hips or pelvis. And then exhale, tabletop. Oh, really nice. That was part of my work already. All right, we're going to stay with the twist, but now we're just going to have a little bit of a sway side to side, and I'll thread the needle. So just like before, as we inhale, take the right arm up. But this time, as we exhale, it goes underneath us, and we just thread it through. If the ear happily comes to the floor, so be it. If you want to block underneath, you can. Once you're there, just notice that you've got a hand that's closer to you. Got a hand that's closer to your face. And then just move that hand so that you feel you've got a wider circle of a base. You've got a bigger base of support. And once you've got that bigger base of support, once you've moved your hands, you'll notice that you can have a little sway of the hips. So just allow the bum to kind of have a little sway. Exactly. And you can move the hands wherever you want. The main thing is that we kind of allow the body to have this little seaweed sway. So we've got enough support so the body feels able to move. And as you inhale, start to move back into that tabletop position. Refine those points of contact with the ground, and then the same thing other side. Inhale, other side lips. And then exhale as we close the twist down. And then exactly the same deal. So we just want to find best place for the hand so we feel the body's got freedom to move. So it feels supported. So just have a little root round. Where do you feel you've got the most amount of options? And then just let the lower body go. Last breath before we change. And inhale and bring it back. Tabletop position. All right. We're going to come to lay on our spine. So however you want to do that. If you quite like to cross your ankles and sit back on them, you can. Otherwise, any other way to travel back is good for me. Yes. Last thing before we come into our flow. Pop the arms down by your side. And take the legs into an L shape. So bring the feet off the floor, knees are bent, and we make an L shape of our legs. Yes, perfect. And then all we're going to do is take one heel and just touch it to the ground and then bring it back up. And then the other heel. And then bring it back up. Good. And what wants to happen is the body goes, oh, I know this. I'll just move my knee. I'll just bend my knee a little bit more and I can get closer to the ground quicker. Try and avoid that. So move from the hip socket. And then when you come up, just make sure the knees aren't closer to your face than your hips. So as you come up, just make sure those knees are just a little bit further away from your face than where your hips are. And then only when you feel like you're totally comfortable with this movement, what we're going to do is we're going to add the challenge of a little brain work. Once the heel hits the floor, turn the palms. Once the next heel hits the floor, turn the palms again. So each time a heel hits the floor, you're going to turn your palms. And then when the next heel hits, you're going to turn the palms. It's a really simple movement, but it's really challenging. You can take it as slow as you want, but there's a turn of the palms. There's a brain that is, yes, nice and low. Good. You should really be feeling this in the center as well. It should be starting to really be fatigued, and then we're asking the brain to do stuff. It might not even be enough energy for. Good. And just do one last one. That's a lot. That is a lot already. Pop the feet gratefully down onto the ground. If it's a windscreen wiper that just gives your center relief, good. If it's just a long stretch, equally good. It might even be a little bridge. It might be a little wobble. But I would expect that the body needs some sort of recognition of the work that the center has just done. And then whenever you want, in your own time, flip on over, Ardha Mukha, downward facing. And at any point you can sub tabletop for Ardha Mukha. You don't have to do tons and tons if you don't want to. If you've been doing different stuff this weekend, just notice how down dog feels in your foot. Especially if you've been doing a lot more walking, you might feel a little bit more stiff. Might find some little hot spots so you can work in there. And as you inhale, look forward. And as you exhale, forward fold. So normally this is the point where we'd look for our weights if we were going to use one, but I don't think anyone's got their weights. So totally fine if you haven't. If you do want to, you can always grab your weight. I will do one without. Otherwise, when you're ready, inhale, flat back. So really allow the back some space. Allow it to be as long as possible. Lean the weight forward so there's this kind of gripping through the center. You might even notice that your toes are pushing down more. And then rock the weight back, exhale, bend the knees, sit back. Chair pose, Utkatasana, really strong through the feet. Push down into the ground as you lift it all the way up, Samastiti. And exhale as the hands find their way into the heart center. Oh, things. Inhale, adjust the feet so they're turned out and wider than the hips. Take the arms up. Select whatever mudra or whatever arm position suits you. And then exhale. Anasana, nice and slow with control. Use all of the muscles that you've got. Pelvic floor, core. At the bottom, inhale, just feel where the weight is. I love that. Where is the weight through your feet? Where is it? And then push down through feet to come back up. Inhale as we pause. Exhale once again, send the hips back. Really slow. Appreciate each and every little angle. Join, bend the knees, draw the core in, allow the pelvic floor just to help. And at the bottom, that really lovely release as you feel the weight travel down into the floor. Your feet. Exhale. Nice, really nice, Elaine. That's a really good one. Inhale as we pause. Exhale all the way back. Last one. Last. And then I leave it up to you. If you want to forward fold from here, you can. If you prefer to come to a stand and then forward fold from there, you can do that. Whatever works best. Either way, once you get there, just make sure the feet are parallel. And then you can forward fold if you're not ready. We'll do one last half salute before we move on. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale as we push down through the legs and come all the way up, Samastiti. And exhale, hands into the heart center. Inhale, adjust the feet, take the arms up. And then 3 more Manasanas. Exhale, hips go back, knees bend. As much control as you can. I know it's a big ask. At the bottom, we find where the weight is. Maybe there's an option just to take the weight somewhere a little bit different. And then we push down into the floor to come up. Inhale as we pause. Exhale once more, Malasana. At the bottom is the best bit. There's as little muscular action as possible. We just feel what the feet can feel. Exhale as much muscular action as we push up. Inhaling, last one. Exhale as we push back. And control our descent. And just like before, it's up to you if you forward fold from here or if you come to the stand. Either way, at some point we're in a forward fold. We've adjusted our feet so they are parallel. And we're ready to fly. Inhale as we pause, we're at the front of our mat. Maybe with soft knees if that feels nicer this morning. As we exhale, that right leg is traveling back into a low lunge, right knee back. Oh, low lunge. Good. And then whatever you need in low lunge. So I'm just going to work a little bit of psoas. So I'm going to have a little tilt forward and back of my pelvis. You can have a little twist if you prefer. You can do something with the arms. So maybe the arms come up. You might want to circle through the wrists. You've got lots of gardening plans. I was kind of thinking maybe I should mow the lawn too. Don't know. Elaine says, yes, do it. All right. Last breath, just doing whatever we want in our low lunge, just to get the most out of it. And from here, we've been coming into our gate pose. So normally what we do is this back knee, we move it slightly so that the foot is in contact with the carpet. But if we can, because we've been doing this for a while, if we can, we're going to try and keep that line where it is. We're going to try and keep the foot roughly in line with the knee. So normally we make a bigger center of pressure, not so much pressure. We're going to try and avoid that and just use our balance. So what it's going to look like, we're going to bring that back leg behind us, resist the urge to move the foot, and we're going to come into gate like that. So we're going to have to work a lot harder than we normally do to stabilize us. Yes. So I should see some wobbles. Elaine, if it feels all right, I reckon that foot can come a little bit closer to the other foot. Exactly. And you should just find, you just feel like, oh, wow, this is not really stable. So you're working a lot harder. Good. What you might have done, so Lou, just bring the straight leg a little bit closer to the middle of your mat. So the straight leg a little bit, yes, nice. And then circle the arm. Good, good, that's what we want. That's what we want. We've done this flow, you know, this is now 6 times, so the body knows it. It's nice to keep it awake. Last little one. So the whole time the body is trying to balance us. And then look forward. And as you exhale, bring it back, low lunge. Tuck the back toe, lift the back knee as we inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. Good. Very nice. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, same thing, other side, left leg goes back. You can do this first bit in a high lunge if you prefer. So if your knee doesn't feel super comfortable on the floor, you might have really hard floor this morning. And then the same thing, what do you want out of your low lunge or high lunge? So there's so many different places you can take it. I often find psoas and hip flexors just need a little bit of undulation. But you can play with a twist, so it might be that you take the knee forward. You might play with adductors in the thighs, maybe that knee goes slightly out to the side and you open up the sole of the foot. Whatever you're doing, last breath here. And then we prepare for that mad balance. So whenever we're ready, we're going to come into gate, but we're going to try and keep the foot in the same plane, the same line as the knee. So when you're ready, left hand comes down, front foot, front leg comes behind us and we're in gate. Good. Now what's probably going to happen is that straight leg is going to stay in front of you. If you can, just bring the straight leg, straight foot in line with the other foot. So if you look down, you've got a foot and then a foot straight in front. That's good. If you're wobbling, stay as you are. If you feel like actually it's wobbly, but I'm kind of all right, then come to your fingertips. Nice, Sally, really nice, good. And then maybe circle the arm, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You might find one side better than the other. Not that I like to pick a side. They're both equally incredible. And then pop the arm back down if it's been doing some gliding. Look forward as you inhale, and then exhale back to low lunge. Inhale as we come up into a runs, and then exhale, forward fold. Ah, really nice. Oh, I forgot our planks into down dogs. We'll have to do that at the end of this. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, once again, right leg steps back, but this time into runners. Long, lovely, decent runners. Big old stretch through the calves. As we inhale, lift the hands off the ground, take the chest forward. It's like locust on top of runners or galloping horse. As we exhale, two things happen. We bring our hands in front of us and we round the spine and we hug our body. So we've got this round. Inhale as you start to travel towards the front foot, still hanging on to the torso. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Ah. Inhale as we come through into a plank. Exhale, we travel back into dog. We continue there. Inhale through into a plank. Exhale, dog. Twice more. Inhale through into plank. Exhale, dog. Last one. Inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Very nice. If you feel like it, because it's Sunday morning, you feel like a little bit of a bounce, you can have a jump forward. Otherwise, simply walk the feet. Oh, lovely. Through to the hands. Inhale as you pause. Exhale, that left leg travels a long way back into our runners lunge. Good. Inhale as we take the arms behind us, chest comes forward. Get as much space as possible to maybe lift the chest a little bit. Bring the shoulder blades a little bit closer together, Davina. Yes, and there's more space between the chest. And then as we exhale, we start to round the back. We start to take the arms in front of us. They cross over. We grab hold. It feels completely different. And then as we inhale, we start to travel forward. Feel the shifts of weight. And then exhale, just down dog. This one's different. As we inhale, take it into a plank. Exhale as we drop the knees, bend the elbows, travel onto our belly. Inhale, locust. I'm going to do cobra because it's couldn't help myself. It's a nice looking locust, Louise. Really good. Good. Some powering up there. And then exhale all the way back down. There's one more locust. Inhale, strong. Good. Yes. The external rotation of the upper arm bones get a bit more out of it and a bit more lift. And then release all the way down. Pop the hands underneath the shoulders as you inhale. And then exhale, up, back, Ardha Mukha. Really nice. You don't have to Ardha Mukha, you can always tabletop. Inhale as we look forward, that's where we're going forward. Whatever happens. It's nice to know, isn't it? And then exhale, forward fold. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, Ardha Mukha, back to downward facing dog. Oh, inhale as we come forward into a plank. Exhale onto our knees. Then the elbows back. Inhale if you feel like it, cobra, but make it active cobra. So elbows bent. There's work going through the muscles, not just the joints. And then exhale, releasing. Inhale as you push and press. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Inhale, right leg lifts up, three-legged dog. Yeah, good. And then exhale, takes all the way through warrior two. Now, we know what we're doing. We know that we're in this warrior two for a while, but we know we get a break. We know we get a break, so go long. As long as hips feel all right, as long as ankle feels all right, go as long as you possibly can in your warrior two without losing that front knee ankle connection, because we're going to break it down. As we inhale, straighten up the legs, take the arms up and cross the wrists. As we exhale, rebend, take the arms down in front of pubic bone and cross them in front. Really perfect. Inhale as we come back up. Exhale, rebend. All right. If we can, rather than bending and straightening from the knee, bend and re-straighten from the power of the foot. I know that sounds weird. So as we inhale, push so strongly through the foot, the knee's got no choice but to straighten up. It's like the foot overpowers the knee. So it should become a lot stronger. It should feel a lot more muscular. Last couple here. When we do the other side, we'll add a little bit of complexity, but for now, last one. Now next, come into your warrior two legs. You can just stay there. As you inhale, lift the back heel, spin the whole thing round so you're in a high lunge. Good. Find your balance. And then exhale, forward fold. I know that's a lot to ask. Yes, yes, good. Good. Inhale as we pause. Same thing, other side. Exhale, just down facing dog. You can do whatever you want in as a dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale as the knees come down and you shift the weight through onto your belly. Inhale, back bend of choice. Back bend of choice. The evenly sphinx. Exhale as you let that back bend go. Inhale as we push and press back into Ardha Mukha. That would be some dog. I'm going to take a little bit of child. From down dog, inhale as the left leg comes up. Exhale as it comes through. Warrior two, exactly the same thing. So we know what we're doing. We know how long we've been going. Because we've gone long, just make sure that that back foot, the angle of the rotation makes sense. So I'm going to just turn my toes in slightly so I've got a little bit more play, and I'm going to go as long as I possibly can. And then same thing with one change. As we inhale, we cross the wrists, but the left wrist crosses over the right. Left over right. As we exhale, we cross the wrists, but the left crosses over right. Good, so now our brain is really having to think. Inhale, right wrist over left. Exhale, right wrist over left. We keep going. Inhale, left wrist over the right. Exhale, left over right. Make sure it's the foot that's powering you up, not the knee. Inhale, right over left. Exhale, right over left. Use the feet, really, really push them down into the ground. They should be as active as possible. Keep going. Last one on each. Last one up and last one down. Good. When you next come into your warrior two legs, just stay there. You can allow the arms just to drop. As you inhale, pop up that back heel. And as you exhale, spin around. So you would have gone the longest ever high lunge. Still push through your foot to find some strength. And you might find you can fling yourself good into a forward fold. Really nice. Inhale as you pause. Moving on. Exhale, right leg back. Normal length, high lunge, thank goodness. Normal length, high lunge. Perfect. Take the arms behind you. If it's comfortable, settle the hands onto the elbows. And notice what you can feel. So with the elbows bent and the forearms on the spine, notice what you can feel. As you exhale and travel forward, notice what you can feel with the forearms. You should feel this little kind of mound of spine in a nice way. And then push down through the foot to come all the way back up into your high lunge. And then we do the opposite. Push the forearms into the spine, arc over it. And again, it should feel really different sensation. And then let the breath go. For a second, just straighten up the front leg. Keep the arms as they are, but know that at any point you can loosen them, at any point. So we're adding a bit more complexity here. If you want, you can move the back foot a little bit closer in because we are going to do a balance. And in fact, I feel like I'm going to run out of space, so I'm actually going to adjust my whole stance. And in your own time, come into a warrior three, but with the hands where they are. Yes, lovely. Find where you are in space and then open it up into a half moon, but the hands stay as they are. Just be aware of what the spine is doing. Good. A little bit higher in that leg in. And then last little thing, come back into a warrior three, drop it into a standing splits, hand where it is. And it might be that it's not your kind of normal standing splits. Yes, good, good. Oh, and then forget it. Forget it, 2 feet on the floor. Nice, Sally, absolutely lovely. Let the hands go. That was great. I know I did, I mean, oh my God, that was a big amount of complexity. That really was. But hopefully the main thing was that we could feel what our spine was doing. That was the main thing. If you could notice where the spine was, because you've got your forearms there, that was the best thing. Not that we did or we didn't do it. Either way, come back to the front of your mat and enjoy the next bit. Forward fold. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, left leg travels a long way back. High lunge. We select our angles. And then when we're ready, arms come behind, elbows bend. Maybe we grab hold of the opposite, not the opposite, but in the opposite way. So the opposite forearm is uppermost. You'll know if you've got it because it doesn't feel like a natural way to hold your elbows. And then exactly the same as we did. Exhale as we travel forward. We feel what happens to our spine as our hamstrings start to come to the end of their available length. And then push down through the foot to come back up. From the foot to come back up. Good. And then arc over. You can use your forearms to push into the back and just feel the difference. And then travel back into the neutral spine. Straighten the front leg just to give yourself a little bit of a rest. And then just like we did before, this is a big ask. So set up so you can get the most out of it. You might shorten the stance. Focus your drishti, find your breath. Warrior 3 with unusual arms. Open it up, half moon. Yes. Good. And then close it back down, coming into standing splits. You can tap the foot whenever you need. You can tap the foot whenever you need. Yes, nice, good, good. And then feet down. Hands release. Have a little handshake. Good. If you feel like one last chaturanga, you can. If you feel like a couple of handstands hops, you absolutely can. You're ready for them. If you feel like having just that extra 30 or 45 seconds of restorative, that's also a really great idea. Either way, yoga's choice. Whenever I say yogi's choice, I always think about ladies. In fact, I don't know why. Just in my head, it's like I don't know why. You're used to reading ladies. It's got that same vibe, isn't it? Do as you please. You're in charge. If you did disrobe, this now but might be the time just to pop some layers back on so you keep that heat. And as usual on a Sunday, we don't have loads and loads of time. So we just select a position that we are going to make the most of. So it's normal, or normally something like legs up the wall, or we grab a ball or a block or a bolster, pop it underneath our sacrum. And just really settle in. Don't forget, I really love easy pose. So head on the floor, shoulder blades on the floor, legs a little wide, knees coming in together. Whatever you want, pop yourself on. And then very gently, just really softly. Start to think about how you want to bring the body back. And maybe at some point today, maybe there's just that really precious 7 minutes. You can just find a little corner. It might be that you take a little shavasana and really finish this morning's practice. Either way, whenever you've already, just draw the body up into that comfortable seat. If you're already there, you might allow the shoulders to explore some movement. And then just allow the arms to fly wide and really high as you go and gather and get and experience and explore. And then exhale, you just feel the difference as you allow gravity to take the arms back down to earth. And just give it all back. Even the real good stuff. Inhale as you grow. Exhale as you contract. Once more, inhale as you grow. And exhale, give it all back. Inhale, take the arms all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands into the heart center. Stop the holding.